Good morning, students. The last time we had stopped right in the midst of the story, a house is not a home. Till the last lecture, I had taught you what had happened with this schoolboy who had just matriculated and gone in high school, higher secondary, senior secondary school, and then he was missing his old school teachers, and he was especially missing his seniority, where he enjoyed his seniority, respect given by the juniors, and now he had become a junior again, and then his house catches fire, and everything he loses with at the snap of a finger, and all that negativity of a new school, no friends, and his life being in a mess starts acting upon his brain, and then he feels the most vulnerable person on the earth, and he's very sad with the state of affairs in his life. Now let's see whether he continues with the same mindset or what changes his perspective is the question. So we had stopped at page number 51. We begin from page number 52. When I walked through what used to be my house after school that day, I was shocked to see how much damage there was. Whatever hadn't burnt was destroyed by the water and chemicals they had used to put out the fire. So when something burns, and something which had not caught fire also gets spoiled because the water was used, the chemical was used to put out the fire, those also act upon those things and ruin it. The only material things not destroyed by were the photo albums, documents, and some other personal items that my mother had managed to heroically rescue. So she had rushed into the house to bring my father's memories, and those were in the photographs and then documents she had to take off from there. So because of her heroic deed, that was rescued at least, but the other things had gone. But my cat was gone and my heart ached for her. He was thinking that the cat was dead. It got engulfed in the fire and was burned to death. There was no time to grieve. He said, like, I cannot go on like this. Let me proceed further in my life. My mother rushed me out of the house. We would have to find a place to live, and I would have to go and buy some clothes for school. We had to borrow money from my grandparents because there were no credit cards, cash, or even any identification to be able to withdraw money from the bank. All this is needed. Your passbook is needed, your identification card is needed. All that got turned into ashes in their home. Everything had gone up in the smoke. That week, the rubble is the leftover of the house over there, that used to be our house was being cleared off the lot. So obviously nobody can leave the mess like that lying over there. So they were clearing off the rubble. Even though we had rented an apartment nearby, I would go over to watch them clear away debris, hoping that my cat was somewhere to be found. So he had no role play to play over there, but he would go and watch them taking away the debris, clearing off the debris. Debris is the leftover ash, the wooden parts or the things over there lying which had been burnt. So, but he would go in the hoping that he would get back his cat over there. She was gone. I kept thinking about her as that vulnerable little kitten. Now, vulnerable over here means exposed to any kind of damage or danger. It can be emotional, it can be physical as well. Because it was a little kitten, it was exposed to any kind of danger. In the early morning, when I would disturb her and get out of the bed, she would tag along after me, climb up my robe and crawl into my pocket to fall asleep. So that was the kind of emotion he shared with her, bond he shared with her. As soon as he would get up, he would move her away from the bed, and then she would crawl on the robe. Robe is the long kind of gown, you can wear it from the top as well, and then it would come and sit inside the pocket and sleep. I was missing her terribly. It always seems that bad news spread quickly. This is true. And in my case, it was no different. Everyone in high school, including the teachers, were aware of my plight. Plight means sad condition. I was embarrassed, as if somehow I were responsible. So when you're passing by and people are whispering, see what happened with him, then you suddenly become aware of the fact that something wrong has happened in my life, and might be I am the cause of it. What a way to start off at a new school. He did not get attention at all earlier, and now he was the center of attention. This was the kind of attention I was looking for. The next day at school, people were acting even more strange than usual. I was getting ready for gym class at my locker. So in their schools abroad, we have lockers, and whatever they need, they are whatever things are in the locker, each student is provided with a locker. People were milling around me, asking me to hurry up. Now, milling means they surround you in a mass, and then whatever they want you to do, they will push you to do that particular thing only. So it was very unusual of them to behave like that, because they hardly knew him. I thought it was strange, but in the light of the past few weeks, nothing would surprise me. Strange, he had a burnt house, he had nothing left, his cat was missing, he had joined a new school, and there was nothing surprising what is going to happen next, even if it were to be bad. It almost seemed that they were trying to shove me into the gym. So they were literally trying to push him inside the gym. Then I saw why. There was a big table set up with all kinds of stuff on it just for me. They had taken up a collection and bought me school supplies, notebooks, all kinds of different clothes, jeans, tops, sweatsuits. So this person was being helped by the community of the school. They had collected money and then they bought all these things for him. It was like Christmas, like you get gifts on Christmas. I was overcome by emotion. People who had never spoken to me before were coming up to me to introduce themselves. I got all kinds of invitations to their houses. Their genuine outpouring of concern really touched me. So those who did not know him also were calling him to his house, trying to make him comfortable, trying to pull him out of the grief, the sadness what he was in. In that instant, I finally breathed a sigh of relief and thought for the first time that things were going to be okay. I made friends that day. When you have friends in life, these are the people who definitely will see to it that your day is okay, even if you are having a hell lot of time on that day and you have been pushed by life to a corner where you definitely feel you were on the verge of giving up. A month later, I was at my house watching them rebuild it. But this time it was different. I wasn't alone. I was with two of my new friends from school. It took a fire for me to stop focusing on my feelings of insecurity and open to all the wonderful people around me. He was a kind of an introvert person. So he says, might be this fire was the changing moment in my life where I would open up to people and speak about my insecurities and feel better out of it rather than feeling suffocated because of it. Now I was sitting there watching my house being rebuilt when I realized my life was doing the same thing. It was like two constructions which were taking place. One in the physical sense where the house was being rebuilt, and one is emotional and I would say the spiritual sense where he was rebuilding himself from within. While we sat there on the curb is the edge, planning my new bedroom, I heard someone walk up to me from behind and say, "Does this belong to you?" When I turned around to see who it was, I couldn't believe my eyes. So any guesses? Yes, it was the cat. A woman was standing there holding my cat. I leapt is the past tense of leap. Just jumped over there and grabbed her out of the woman's arms. I held her close to me and cried into that beautiful orange fur. So he just clung onto that cat and he was crying profusely. She purred happily. My friends were hugging me and hugging the cat and jumping around. They also felt that joy. That moment was so beautiful that they also shared the happiness. Apparently, at the end, my cat had been so freaked by the fire, she got so afraid by the fire that she ran over a mile away. Her collar had our phone number on it, but our phones had been destroyed and disconnected. This wonderful woman took her in and worked hard to find out whose cat it was. So she might have inquired as to whose cat it was and like from where this thing might have come from around, if the numbers are not working, whom did those numbers belong to, all that she inquired and saw to it that she gives away to the rightful owner. Somehow she knew this cat was loved and sorely missed. Sorely over here means the high degree of intensity. She knew that this cat was missing its owner and the owner must be missing it too. As I sat there with my friends and my cat curled up in my lap and all the overwhelming feelings of loss and tragedy seemed to diminish. So when he sat with the cat whom he thought had died, who he thought had died, all that sadness, that feeling of loss started to diminish, started to fade away. I felt gratitude for my life, my friends, the kindness of a stranger, and the loud purr of my beloved cat. My cat was back, and so was I. So there comes the essence of the story's title. A house is not a home. A house is only built out of materials. It becomes a home only and only if people living in it love each other, respect each other, understand each other, and it is that feeling which actually makes a house, turns a house into a home. Now then you can have lavish bungalows, you can have duplexes, but you will not have that if those human feelings are not prevalent over there, then definitely it's just a house, it's no more a home. So this incident actually turned the author into a strong person, and he knew that he would count on his blessings in life and that he would never ever give up. So that's all for today. You can read the text. If you have any queries, you can ask me, you can ping me personally, read the text thoroughly and try to solve the question.